Independent Network for Contemporary Culture and Arts has announced the second edition of Art After Baby, which is again supported by the National Arts Council of South Africa Presidential Employment Stimulus Program. So as part of the project, artist Siviwe James is one of those who have been selected to receive support and mentorship in order to complete and also exhibit a body of work in the solo exhibitions. It's happening at Victoria Yards in Johannesburg in early 2025. Siviwe interestingly creates a personal work that reflects not only on her positions as caregivers and artists, but also how she has navigated loss and how that's impacted her role and created new and unexpected paths for her as a creative at large. And so we're joined virtually by Siviwe James this morning to chat about her journey. Good morning. Thank you for making time to be with us and for sharing your story as well, Siviwe.
Good morning, Liesl. Thank you so much for having me this morning. Thank you to your viewers for joining in as well.
Congrats. Congrats on being selected for this Art After Baby program. But perhaps you could walk us through what this opportunity means for you personally.
Wow, where do I even begin? When Art After Baby, the announcement came through, it felt like the perfect gift, a universal gift, I've been home for the last 5 years since my husband passed away in August 2020. And I've spent the last 5 years working through so many complex emotions, complex ways of being, right? From being a missus to a widow, from being independent to living back home with my mom. So this body of work and just the opportunity with Inca and the whole program really felt like a beautiful affirmation of time spent, a beautiful recognition of the sort of work that I've been putting together. And so, I'm besides myself, really, to have made it to this point.
Well, we are richer for you having shared, of yourself. And so thank you for also being so vulnerable. And because you're exploring such deep themes. I mean, firstly, the intersection of caregiving and artistry. Perhaps you could elaborate on that. But even just navigating loss, some of the view that loss is the returning of something we never owned in the first place. So how would that have then created space for you and impacted your creative journey?
They always talk about 7 stages, right, of grief. But I think there's another phase in there, and that is one of recognition, because within grief, we tend to lose ourselves. And so how do we come to recognize from ourselves again and listen to something else so that the tragedy itself doesn't become the only consuming point in our lives? And so, in the last 5 years, I've discovered concepts of memory work. Memory work being a notion of dealing through traumatic experiences, using alternative ways of sitting with those complex moments. And I think that's the beauty in creativity. It's such a gentle offering. It's such a gentle practice that allows people to maybe sit with those uncomfortable emotions and really gather themselves back. And that's what this body of work tries to go through, this idea of memory. Which ones do we select from? What do we make primary again? What should matter? And I think, when we go back to a program like Art After Baby and its specifications on women, the fact that it centers our voices, our narratives again, really shines the light on how us as female practitioners, caregivers in this space, there's a different way of viewing and being in the world that we can offer people.
Yes.
And so, this is what we end up with.
That lens is so critical for inclusivity, for equity, for representation as well. And also just overall healing, given, the constructs of patriarchy and white supremacy. So I want to look at your solo exhibition, which, as I alluded to at the beginning, it's slated for early 2025. But, what are your hopes for how the audiences will also engage with your work, respond from here into what else can we expect for the rest of the year from you?
So this show is currently happening at Victoria Yards. I just have to put that out there. So please do visit with it. It'll be showing until the 26th of February. It comprises of digital prints and a video as well. And really, for me, I never want to put restrictions on the audience. I had such a mixed bag of responses from everyone, from young mothers who are friends with me, practitioners coming to me and saying, you know what, this work has made me feel comfortable about certain chapters of my life that I haven't given voice to. That's beautiful.
Sure.
Or people who've known me through these different seasons, viewing this work and actually just being able to see something material of what's happened in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I think for an audience, viewing this work, I would love to encourage them to just sit, be present. I don't think, we don't spend enough time with this sort of complex narrative, especially because I was married to an Afrikaner white guy. And so there's also a revisioning of what a post-apartheid relationship ideas look like as well, which is quite interesting to have. My faith as a Christian girl raised in the church, you've got moments in there that kind of like fluctuate throughout the work. So I think it's a beautiful visual landscape of where we are as a country as well. So I think everyone will find a piece of something in there to just relate with.
Well, thank you for sharing your story and for being part of this conversation. It sounds like the process is the purpose through all of this, and we're ever evolving. So thank you for, being so vulnerable, and we're wishing you all the best of luck for your next chapter and beyond. As we leave that conversation, there's Siviwe James, an exhibition curator who just joined us, obviously just celebrating the bold, brilliant and fearless young creatives who are revolutionizing the world of independent arts. Siviwe currently exhibiting at Victoria Yards in Johannesburg.